downstairs is going to be long too. We got to be sensible. Keep planning.
Why? What's on overnight?
Well, we got a lot of meetings. We got a lot going on, right?
Like what?
We're on. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. We will call the October 8, 2015 meeting of the Mount Pearl City Council to order. And I have to say it looks an awful lot like the last council meeting in September where we adjourned. Councilor Yetchek is coming out of bridge. We're more like the in-laws in the family. Okay, folks, on correspondence, we have none, but we could have tabled a whole bunch of congratulatory letters.
Indeed.
I don't know that that would have been necessary. We just would have gone down through them, and that would have only inflated our own ego, somebody else's. But we did get a lot of nice letters from different organizations, members of our community, congratulating council not just on the success of this election, but also on our last 4 years, which I have to tell you is very motivating. We will move to committee reports. The first committee report today is Public Works. Councilor Walsh not available, so Councilor Cheshire, if you would, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship. Not a long Public Works agenda, just some updates. The new dog park has, of course, been in full use since it opened in August. We were all there for the grand opening. Residents are bringing their dogs to the park, which is fully equipped with water fountains and lighting for nighttime use. The area also allows animals to roam freely, and it provides a separate section for smaller dogs, which, by the way, at the opening was one of the greatest sources of feedback, of very positive feedback, especially from owners of smaller dogs. Larger dogs, they have a beautiful area there for the larger dogs as well, but for the people who own smaller dogs, it may be a little bit intimidating for the little dogs to interact with the larger dogs. So that separation has been a welcome sight.
I'll be right there for a second. I've got a question.
Sure.
And I know that you don't have the answer, Council. I'm going to turn to Mr. Randall. We had some flooding.
Yes.
I know in the dog park, that created a little bit of a problem. I understand that has since been corrected. But does that mean that we would avoid this kind of flooding in the future? What actually happened there?
It wasn't, I wouldn't quite characterize it as flooding. We had some wet spots in the dog park associated with the terrain that's kind of sloping there.
Yeah, well,
So-
the word that a taxpayer used would be was flooding.
Right.
That's why I'm using
So combined with the fresh sod that we had laid, everything got kind of soft in that area. So we excavated that with our public works crews. We put some weeping tile underneath that section, and we added some pea gravel in that area to deal with any future possibilities of water coming there. There are a couple of other areas in the dog park that we noticed associated with the slope that are also, we think, fairly flat, and we'd like to go back there. We're going to monitor it through this fall and in the spring. We expect to do some more modifications in that section as well.
because we did have a heavy rainfall at the time.
Right, and it's fresh sod, so it hasn't really. If the sod is actually taken and it's settled down, a lot of the water would run off the top of the grass. In this case, it was actually being absorbed underneath the grass, like a big sponge. A lot of topsoil there as well.
Yes.
Okay, well, I know it's being used.
Oh.
The uptake, I think, is
Parking lot is
Well,
Yeah.
I know I go there quite often, not with my dog, but they're walking. And every time I go, I count, and I count every time approximately 50 people. I don't know how many dogs. I'm watching the people, but I mean, there's lots of dogs there, and lots of cars there. And even in the late at night, people are there. It's continuously lots of uptake.
So how does that compare with our older dog parks? Do we have any numbers to compare, or just?
From
I
my
don't
own
think it's comparable.
from my own observations, it's about at least double. At least double.
Yeah.
no comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've actually heard people from other neighboring municipalities comment that they have come into Mount Pearl to bring their dogs to this dog park.
So should we insist that they bring a doggy bag?
We're happy to provide the doggy bags.
Right, they gotta bring a doggy bag?
We're happy to provide the doggy bags. And on that note, yes. And on that note, we have to remind residents that if you are bringing your dog to the dog park, you are responsible for cleaning up after your pet to make sure that it's a comfortable experience for everybody.
The experience is going reasonably well when it comes to the debris or whatever you want to call it that's around the dog park. It looks like people are actually, they seem to be very proud of what's there. They enjoy it. There's lots of, if you want to call it, camaraderie amongst the people that are there. You'll hear everybody talking. A great time up there. But we want to remind people certainly to pick up after your dogs, and there's waste disposal there. The bags are there. There's a lot of bags we're going through, but it's part of what we've offered. It's a very good service. People are using it.
How well lit is the park? Sorry.
Church, up and down, up and down, up and down.
It's well lit. I think I counted it. I think there's either 4 or 6 street lights that are there, so it's well lit. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why when I go there at night time, there's lots of people that are using it because they can use it all night long if they so chose to do that. Well, we are looking at creating a parking entrance to actually allow people to park and use the dog park. We obviously have our snow dump there, so we want to make sure we're careful. So we're looking at the entrance to the snow dump and the dog park now to try and widen that a little bit to give it some more safe and separate entrance there. I know the next question may be, what are we going to do in the wintertime? It's not our vision, at least to the Public Works Committee, that we're going to be in there removing snow from the dog park. It will fill with snow. So at some point, people will either continue to use it until it's over the fences, or we'll have to consider something different. Right now, we plan to do like our other dog park. We'll keep it going through as long as we can.
I'm not sure that other dog parks or other municipalities are actually emptied during the winter months as well, so I think that that's probably, I think that that's, as far as that's concerned, we're probably victims of our climate. But while at this point, while there is no dreaded white stuff on the ground, it's being very, very widely utilized. So again, people are reminded that they are responsible for cleaning up after their pet in the dog park and, of course, on our trailways. Yes. All right, our city crews are continuing to groom our trails and our open spaces, and that brings us to the other point. I have received, when we were campaigning, I received several people talking about people not being responsible for their pets on our trailway system. That is still very, very important. It is part of our regulations. It is ticketable, so you absolutely must clean up after your pet. We're glad to see you out walking and utilizing our trailways. That's what they're there for. But you have to make sure you leave it pleasurable for everybody who wants to use them.
With respect to the dogs, and I know we have to have them tethered, in the public walkways, do we have a requirement for muzzling of dogs, any large dogs? I just know there was a news item today that, someone got bitten by some local dogs. And I don't know if that's something we can take back to committee, and because some of the residents have asked that, because it's a little unnerving if you're out either bike riding or walking and a big dog comes towards you, and the owner always insists that they're friendly, but it's an animal. Right, they're friendly until you got to go see a plastic surgeon, is my point of view, right? So I don't know. I know some jurisdictions require muzzling on dogs if they're in public spaces. I don't know if that's something. Some residents, again, going door to door, asked me about that. So I figured I'd just mention it now. We're talking about dogs here.
We can take it back to committee, but I think that would be very animal specific. There's lots of very large dogs that are very, very docile and lovely and are as gentle as people like to profess that they are. And there are some smaller dogs that can be very, very aggressive as well, that could do some damage. So as far as muzzling an animal goes, I know as a dog owner, I think that should be something that's dog specific. If there is some kind of aggression, or maybe a recommendation for anybody who's walking with the pet that happens to be a little more aggressive with people.
And owners have to do it.
Owners absolutely have to be responsible for their animals. Well, no, it's not. I don't know if it's necessarily a form of abuse. I don't know that some dogs would react well to it. Some dogs are very, very good with it. I saw several dogs this weekend at an event I was at, and several of them had muzzles, and they seemed absolutely not the least bit disturbed by it. But I know that there's lots of animals that if they're not used to it, then they probably would be bothered by it. Yes. And it's a funny thing, because when you have an animal, when you have a pet, and somebody, like with my dog, and somebody says, does he bite? My response is, well, he hasn't. He's a dog. I don't know that he's not going to bite. But my first reaction is, well, he hasn't. He's never bit anybody. But you don't know. Alrighty. We have a list there of some playgrounds that are going to have some new equipment installed. Bab Crescent, Han Place, Stoico, Pumphrey, and Pearlgate East. There's some structure and swings and stuff that are going to be replaced because they are old and definitely in need of upgrading. Our road crews are continuing to work on the completion of... Honestly. Yes.
John, where are you? What we need? Just again, Mr. Animal, should we be installing new equipment on both?
This is the tendering process, isn't it?
The equipment, we took receipt of it about a couple of weeks back. We've always, not to say that this is, the right answer, but we've always done it typically in the fall when our parks crews are now not as busy doing the grass cutting and what have you. So it gives us an opportunity to get the equipment installed so that when the spring comes, and this equipment is actually used lots of times throughout the winter, and then when the spring comes, our crews are usually then busy engaged with parks activities.
So weather doesn't really have.
No, they're permanently installed. Once they're installed, they could be there for many years. So.
They'll see many, many winters. Yeah, they'll see many winters. Our road crews are continuing to work on the completion of road cuts throughout the city. There's 3 cuts remaining, which are in various stages of repair. Asphalt and milling is going on with 5 large prioritized jobs completed, and work continues to ensure the remaining areas on the list are completed in a timely fashion. I know if anybody's been driving through Donovan's Industrial Park, you are slowing down coming through the park because there's lots of great work happening there right now. I drove by today very slowly, and the sidewalks were being worked on, so that's great to see. The final bulk garbage pickup is in the 4th and final week with an average volume of items collected for fall pickup. The diversion rate for July is at 10%, August is at 11%, and September is at 11%. I have a question myself now actually for the director. How is that in comparison to previous years? Because I know that in driving around the city, in some areas you see a tremendous amount of bulk garbage to be picked up. Not quite as much as in the spring, but a tremendous amount still.
The bulk garbage is in line with previous years. The diversion rate on that was referenced there, Councillor Tessier, in relation to our carts, our regular household garbage collection. It is down.
Oh, that's the recycling?
That's the recycling diversion.
Oh, that is really down.
So that is down from our normal, we're normally running in the order of 15. And we are down. Now, we are in the midst of a number of different analyses that we're doing with that. We are actually working with the MMSB in regards to doing some waste audits on some of the waste collection that we have now, and they've done this already for the cities of Corner Brook and St. John's. So they're working with us right now, actually, and we're well. The early indications, Mayor, is that they are indicating that the carts are indeed. There's lots of good things, environmental things with the carts. We are early on noticing that there's a number of things that could be recyclable that are in the carts, and that's an education piece that we had even before the carts. But the rate is down, so it's something that we are concerned about, and we need to monitor and see what we can do to improve that.
Can we take, back to committee, I guess, we received a significantly reduced fee on what we put into recycling. Almost $20 a ton versus $68 a ton. Should we allocate then some portion of funding to a full-fledged education campaign at this point? We got to get those rates back up.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, we're paying for that as taxpayers. As easy as it might be, or as easier as the perception may be to put your recycling in your garbage now because you can hide it. Ultimately, at the end of the process, we're paying for that.
Well,
You pay for that.
So we need
Yes.
almost a re-education or an ongoing education
Yes.
for a little while anyway, to get people recommitted to
Recycling.
recycling materials that we're allowed to recycle in the city.
That's actually not a bad campaign. Recommit to recycling.
Recommit to recycling, there you go. But anyway,
Yeah.
the committee, I think, needs to take it back. I'm sure it's a budget item in reality going forward in 2014. But, I mean, we spoke openly about our fear that might happen. That once all these things are not visible in the mini container, people won't hesitate to just say, oh, well, I'm
Yeah.
out of sight, out of mind, and we predicted it might happen. I can't help but think that the reduction, that's reflective of that. But I also believe there's a legitimate way around it. But
Sure.
anyway,
All right, and our fleet preparations for the upcoming winter operations have started, and all equipment is being geared for the changeover for the winter season. That absolutely makes me almost physically sick to say it. Over the summer, we have taken delivery. Over the summer, we've taken delivery of 2 new flyers, and that completes our fleet of 7 flyers. That is it for Public Works, Your Worship. Shall I stay on my feet? Community Services report is next. In keeping with the current MOU, the committee is recommending approval to release the 2013 operating grant in the amount of $2,500 to the Association for the Arts in Mount Pearl, and I so move. They really are. Their Arts Week was great. With their Arts Week activities were very interesting. Myself and Councillor Ledwell, I'm not sure if anybody else from council was at the murder mystery evening. Councillor Stoyles was there. To hear the brainstorming over the whodunit was priceless. It was absolutely, and for everybody to get in character, when people that you see every day are suddenly playing a character, and they're coming to your table, and you're expected to engage in that person. You're supposed to ask them questions. So instantly, you sort of think, I'm not doing that. That's a little bit silly. And then they come to your table, and then you go, so exactly what is your relationship with your mother-in-law? And then you're there. It was great. It was wonderful. Yes, wow. Absolutely. Absolutely. The second night of your worship, it is Fire Prevention Week. The St. John's Regional Fire Department held its annual Fire Prevention Week parade on Saturday, October 5th through the streets of Mount Pearl. That's always such a great, great spectacle for the children, especially to see. Residents are encouraged to support the important safety message of fire prevention, as well as the many public safety activities and efforts of the Regional Fire Department's fire and emergency services. Their theme this year is Prevent Kitchen Fires. I think that's the most common cause of household fires, is kitchen fires. I think I read that statistic. And of course, it's so easy to happen. We've all been in situations where you put a pot on the stove or the kettle on and you kind of forget about it, you get distracted. So it's very, very important to always keep safety top of mind, and certainly to support the exceptional work of the St. John's Regional Fire Department this week and every week.
My wife was at the town, so there'll be no kitchen fire. I fear for a problem in a couple of hours. That's a little for mine. Just saying.
Extra cheese.
Oh my goodness. From October, what happened to the beginning of this meeting when we said we were going to be more effective? Come on now. Come on. The week of October 1st to the 6th was the 2013 Metrobus VOCM Cares Thanksgiving Food Drive. I had the honor actually of signing their proclamation in your absence last week, Your Worship. They do absolutely phenomenal work between these two organizations, and they support the Community Food Sharing Association. They were accepting also donations at Sobeys and on all the Metrobus buses, and it was for that week, so technically it is over. However, we very, very strongly encourage people to support this exceptional cause all year long, especially this time of year, but all year long as well, and that is for information purposes only. On October 13th, the Turkey Tea Timex 10K Road Race. That's really hard to say really fast. You got to take your time. You got to take your time saying the Turkey Tea Timex 10K. It's scheduled for Sunday, October 13th. 8 o'clock in the morning is the start on the corner of Dundee and Glencoe in Donovan's. It has a 90-minute run time limit and will be concluding on Park Avenue at Park Place Community Center. St. John Ambulance, Rovers Search and Rescue, and our MEOs are certainly going to be there to support the event. We want to wish everybody the best of luck with that, and I'll tell you, it'll be a lot easier to enjoy your turkey dinner after you have run the Turkey Tea Timex 10K. But I'm not doing it. The tryptophan will be a lot more enjoyable that evening. Yes. Fun event on Monday, October 14th, is our annual Oktoberfest Craft Fair. The Community Services Department, of course, are the hosts of this exceptional craft fair. It's at the Reed Center. Of course, it's just $2 for admission. Children under 12 are admitted free. There's a sausage luncheon and refreshment garden provided by the Mount Pearl Girl Guide, so it's great to support that community organization as well. And there's going to be a children's craft area in the kiddie corner. If you want any more information about it at all, please contact Krista Tucker at 748-1008. And of course, we all get to go up there and go through that craft fair every year. There's a lot of exceptional work there. If you're looking for the Christmas gift for someone that you just can't shop for, this is a great place to go to get that. Sausage for lunch on Monday. Going to give Acropolis a break. My gosh, sure, you don't need to worry about it at all. And your final item, Your Worship. The final item, Your Worship, the Royal Newfoundland Regiment is having their battle fitness test, their BFT, on our trailway on October 20th. Of course, this is, I think, the third or fourth time probably that they've done this. They use a portion of our trailway to do this actual test. They're going to be coming through that portion of our trailway. They're going to be carrying a service rifle that has no ammunition and 22.5 kilogram packs. Of course, our MEOs are going to be able to assist in providing a safe crossing at Commonwealth Avenue for this particular test, and this is just for the information of the general public as well.
Thank you very much, Corporate Services, Deputy Mayor.
Good to know there's no bullets in those rifles.
bullets.
We got to get that info. We don't need that on?
That's what's caused, by the way. That's what caused all of us. First item, which are tax deferrals for low-income earners. Committee is recommending approval of the following tax deferral. Of course, this is in accordance with council policy for low-income earners. The accountant was outlined here in the amount for $474.36. It is moved by Deputy Mayor Watt, seconded by Council Fraser. Questions, comments? All in favor, signify by nine. Motion carries. The next item, Your Worship, is approval of the invoices for council approval.
on site, but we, unless there's trouble essentially, they won't interfere because you want to actually see the flow without any help.
We don't want to be directing traffic.
Correct. But we will monitor